know, there are some things in life that you can recover from. Saying the wrong thing in a meeting, forgetting someone's name, sending that awkward text, but there are also moments where words can kill the energy faster than flipping a light switch. And one of those moments is during sex. Now, I'm not talking about trying to sound sexy or perfect or pulling off some movie scene fantasy. I'm talking about the words that either connect you or completely disconnect you from the person you're with. Because sex, at its best, is about connection, not performance. It's communication. It's presence. It's being right there with another human being, fully engaged, no masks, no scripts. So let's get real about this. There are 3 things you should never, ever say in that moment. The first one is, "Are you done yet?" And if you've ever said that, you probably already know why it's a disaster. That line doesn't just kill the mood, it announces that you've already left the room emotionally. It tells the other person, "I'm not into this, I'm not into you, and I'd rather be anywhere else." You might as well check your phone while you're at it. And sure, sometimes sex isn't great. Sometimes you're tired, distracted, overthinking, whatever. That happens. But the worst thing you can do in that moment is disconnect. Because intimacy isn't about performance, it's about presence. It's about being there, even if it's awkward or imperfect. You can laugh, you can reset, you can try something different, but you can't come back from disinterest. So when you catch yourself drifting, take a breath and bring yourself back. Even if it's not the best sex of your life, being fully present makes it real. The second thing you should never say is, "My ex used to." No. Just no. There is no universe in which that sentence should ever be spoken in the middle of sex. You are literally in the most vulnerable space 2 people can share. You're exposed, you're trusting, you're open, and the second you bring up someone from your past, you've invited a ghost into the room. Nothing kills confidence faster than comparison. Because what your partner hears in that moment is, you're being measured against someone else, and that's a wound that lingers. If you want to share what you like or what works for you, that's totally fine. But talk about it as you, not as a reference to someone else. Say, "I like when," or, "That feels amazing." Speak from your own experience, not your history. That's how you build intimacy, through curiosity and honesty, not competition. And then there's the third thing, which might be the most painful of all: this isn't working. Look, I get it. Honesty is important, but timing matters. Saying, "This isn't working," right in the middle of the act is like pulling the fire alarm in the middle of a wedding. You can't unring that bell. If something feels off, you can absolutely talk about it, but not in that moment. Wait until later, when you're both calm, dressed, and not in that vulnerable headspace. Then you can say something like, "Hey, I'd love to try something different next time," or, "I think we could communicate better about what we both like." That's constructive. That's partnership. What it's not is a mid-act review that sends the message, "You're failing." Because that's not what intimacy is supposed to feel like. The truth is, sex isn't supposed to be perfect. It's not a performance. It's messy. It's human. It's real. There will be moments that don't go as planned, laughter, awkward pauses, even total flops. But that's what makes it intimate. The goal isn't perfection, it's connection. So if you want to make those moments better, if you want more confidence, more chemistry, more passion, it starts with presence and respect. Don't check out. Don't compare. Don't criticize in the moment. Be there. Stay connected. Because the words you choose in those moments don't just affect how the night goes, they shape how your partner feels about themselves, and how safe they feel with you. And when you create safety, trust, and laughter in that space, that's when the best kind of intimacy happens, the kind that doesn't fade when the lights go out. When it comes to intimacy, most people focus on performance, how they look, how they sound, whether they're doing it right, or whether their partner is impressed. We're surrounded by messages that tell us sex is supposed to look like a movie scene: perfect lighting, perfect rhythm, perfect chemistry. But here's the truth, none of that actually matters. What matters is presence. Being there. Being fully engaged with the person in front of you. Because the most powerful and fulfilling sexual experiences don't come from technique or perfection, they come from connection. Think about it this way. You can fake enthusiasm, but you can't fake presence. You can follow every rule in a magazine, you can hit every move in the right order, but if your mind is somewhere else, if you're worried about how you look, or what your partner is thinking, or how long it's taking, you're not really there. And your partner can feel that. Presence is something you can't fake because it's felt, not seen. When you're present, you're not performing, you're connecting. You're noticing small things, the way they breathe, the sound of their voice, how their body responds. You're tuned in, not checked out. That's what builds intimacy. When you start to believe that sex is about performance, you create pressure. You stop being curious, you stop communicating, and you start chasing validation instead of connection. That's when people say things like, "Are you done yet?" Or silently count the minutes, or feel like something's missing even when everything looks right. Because what's missing isn't skill, it's attention. And attention is love in action. Being present also means showing up as you are, without pretending. It's not about doing everything perfectly, it's about being authentic. It's saying, "This is me. Right here, right now." It's allowing yourself to laugh when something awkward happens, to pause if something doesn't feel right, or to express what you like without shame. That level of honesty creates safety, and safety is what makes pleasure possible. Presence isn't just physical either. It's emotional. It's about putting your phone down, turning off the mental noise, and focusing entirely on that shared moment. It's looking your partner in the eye, feeling them, and letting yourself be seen in return. When both people are present, intimacy becomes something deeper. It becomes connection, trust, and energy flowing both ways. Here's the best part. You don't have to be amazing at sex to create that kind of experience. You just have to show up, fully. Listen, breathe, stay open, don't rush it, don't judge it, and don't try to control it. Presence turns ordinary moments into something powerful because it reminds both of you that this isn't about performance, it's about being real, together. So forget about being perfect. Forget about the script. Be there. Because presence is the most attractive, unforgettable, and intimate thing you can bring to the bedroom, and it's the one thing that never fades with time. Honesty is one of the most powerful tools in any relationship, but it's also one of the most misunderstood. People think honesty means saying whatever's on your mind, whenever you feel it. But real honesty isn't just about speaking the truth, it's about how and when you say it. Especially during moments of intimacy. Because the truth, dropped at the wrong time, can do more harm than good. And nowhere is that more obvious than in the bedroom. Picture this, you're in the middle of an intimate moment, everything's raw and vulnerable, and one person says, "This isn't working." Instantly, the energy crashes. It's not just awkward, it's painful. That one sentence can echo long after the moment ends. And while it might be true, the timing turns honesty into a weapon instead of a bridge. The intention might be to fix something, but what it actually does is shut the other person down. Timing is everything because intimacy is a space of deep vulnerability. In that space, people aren't just physically exposed, they're emotionally open. They're taking risks, trusting you, and letting you see parts of them that most people never do. That kind of openness deserves gentleness. So yes, speak your truth, but do it in a way that protects the connection rather than breaking it. If something feels off, resist the urge to say it right in the middle of the act. Instead, stay present, focus on what is working. You can always have the conversation later, when the emotions have settled, when you're both clothed, comfortable, and able to actually listen. That's when honesty becomes constructive. You can say, "Hey, I'd love to try something different next time," or, "I felt a little disconnected, maybe we could talk about what feels good for both of us." That kind of honesty builds connection. It says, "I care enough to improve this with you." The difference between hurtful honesty and helpful honesty is empathy. It's about remembering that your words don't just express your feelings, they shape your partner's experience of themselves. And if you deliver the truth harshly or at the wrong time, what you might intend as openness can feel like rejection. Great communication requires emotional intelligence. It means reading the room, or, in this case, reading the moment. Not every truth has to be said immediately. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is hold the thought, breathe, and wait until you can express it with love and respect. Here's the irony. When you choose the right time to be honest, your partner actually hears you. They don't feel attacked, they feel invited. You create space for growth instead of defensiveness. And that's how intimacy deepens, not through bluntness, but through compassion. So remember, honesty isn't about blurting out the truth, it's about honoring it. Speak up, yes, but do it when your partner can truly receive it. Because timing turns honesty from a weapon into a gift. And when you give it with care, it strengthens not just your communication, but your entire connection. Honesty is essential in any relationship. It builds trust, it keeps things real, and it allows two people to grow together. But here's the part most people miss. Honesty isn't just about what you say, it's about when you say it. Because truth delivered at the wrong time doesn't sound like love, it sounds like rejection. And in the middle of something as intimate and vulnerable as sex, timing can make all the difference between deepening connection and completely breaking it. Picture this, you're in that moment with someone, it's raw, emotional, physical, and then one person blurts out, "This isn't working." Maybe they mean it kindly. Maybe they're frustrated, but the effect is instant. The energy drops, the confidence vanishes. What was a shared experience suddenly becomes a judgment. Because the truth, when spoken in the wrong moment, lands like a punch instead of an invitation. That doesn't mean you shouldn't be honest, far from it. It means that how and when you communicate matters. Sex isn't just physical, it's emotional. Both people are exposed, not just in body but in spirit. You're showing your insecurities, your desires, your hopes. So when honesty is delivered mid-act, when the other person is that vulnerable, it can trigger shame, embarrassment, or self-doubt. And once that happens, it's hard to rebuild the connection. The right time for honesty is when both of you can actually hear it, when you're calm, comfortable, and out of that emotionally heightened space. Afterward, when you're lying together, laughing, or just relaxed, that's when you can say, "Hey, I'd love to try something different next time," or, "Can we talk about what we both enjoy?" That's not criticism, that's collaboration. You're not tearing the experience down, you're working to make it better. What's important to understand is that timing isn't about holding back the truth, it's about protecting the connection. It's the difference between honesty that heals and honesty that hurts. Emotional intelligence means knowing that truth has power, and power has to be handled with care. When you respect timing, your honesty becomes a tool for growth rather than destruction. We often think of honesty as brutal or blunt, "I'm just being real." But real doesn't mean reckless. Real means intentional. It means caring enough to deliver your truth in a way that doesn't humiliate or damage the person you're sharing it with. True honesty should build intimacy, not break it. So yes, speak up when something feels off. Communicate when you want change. But don't do it in a moment of vulnerability when your partner's heart and body are wide open. Take a breath, wait, choose a time when both of you can talk, listen, and laugh about it. Because honesty at the wrong time creates distance, but honesty given with patience and care brings people closer. Timing doesn't weaken truth, it strengthens it. And when you master that balance, your honesty becomes not a weapon, but an act of love.